Monday, July 10th. Please join me for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, I know we have a couple minutes before our 5:35 appointment. Anything you want to bring up?
Well, the 4 new frame rentals, that's okay.
That's fine.
First one is for August 23rd, 2023, arriving 7 a.m., departing 7 p.m. It's no liquor, number of people is 100. It's a family reunion, and they are renting the large pavilion and the gazebo and the large open field. Next one is for Thursday, October 19th, 2023, with a rain date of 10/20/23. Is the Northeast Middle School meets, arriving 1 p.m., departing 6 p.m. No liquor, maximum number of people is 299. They're doing the pavilions and bathrooms and cross-country track. The next one is for July 23rd, 2023, arriving 3 p.m., departing 7 p.m. No liquor, maximum number of people is 20, and is a Cub Scouts summer picnic. And the area requested is pavilion number 1 on the Taylor Street near the Pond Road. The next one is for August 11th, 2023, arriving 12 p.m., departing 10 p.m. Liquor, no. Number of people, 100. It is a birthday party, and they are requesting the parking lot area, the open field, wooded areas on either side of the open field and the pavilion. I'll give you a follow-up on the culvert.
Okay.
That one there is, David did go over with Mass DOT. They did get the culvert cleaned out, but there's an issue that the beavers keep wanting to lock it up again. So David's been over there a couple of times unblocking it, especially with all the rain we've been having. However, there is an issue with the culvert. It is broken underneath the road, and it's up to Mass DOT to decide when they're going to repair the culvert.
Okay.
That's the one on 202, Chris?
That's the one on 202, yeah. That causes Kendall Street to flood in the front of the park.
The Mass DOT is aware of it.
Mass DOT was on site with David when
Yeah.
they tried to unblock it the first time.
Okay.
So, yes, they are well aware of it. Then, just to do a follow-up on the open space DLT request that I did find the PDF file of the 2 applications that I had submitted to Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. Sorry, almost forgot that where I accepted. And I believe it was dated February 13th when I had done it, which was within well within the 2 days. I don't know what happened to it at the site, but we did and Kathy did forward to Ms. Robinson. So we should see that we did submit to the plan.
Chris, I did try to follow up with Catherine Rattay from the PVPC, and she said that they didn't see it in time for funding. So she said there's 2 other sources that we can pull from, but Kim was on vacation when I talked to her 2 weeks ago. And so she was going to get back to me as far as what our 2 options are moving forward. And she apologized for missing it. So in the meantime, I don't know you know, we're just waiting for Kim and Catherine to talk and see what
Okay.
our other two sources of funding can be for the open space and recreation. But that's what I got back when I called to inquire about it from February.
Thank you. Somehow she missed it.
I don't know if it was her or Kim.
Okay.
That was not clarified.
Okay.
But she did apologize for missing it.
All right.
And said had she known, she would have made sure that Granby had the funding for it. And there's two other sources that they can tap into until that becomes available again this fiscal year.
Okay.
So
Hopefully we can tap into that other funding source.
I did
Nice.
try and call her today because I haven't heard back in
Yeah.
2 weeks. And I got her voicemail and I sent her an email just following up. So I will keep the board informed if I hear anything else.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to actually 5:36, so we're going to do our 5:35 appointment. This is a public notice. Notice is hereby given under Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Law that the Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, July 10th, 2023 at 5:35 p.m. at the Senior Center, large room located at 10B West 8th Street, to consider application by Winehouse and Vineyard at Jameson Farm, manager James Tromke. Number one, application for a new license for on-premises 12 Farmer Series pouring permit, adding pouring to malt beverages with the existing wine pouring license. And number two, amendment alterations of premise information, adding pouring permit for malt beverages. Premises described as follows: 18-acre parcel with footage on both East and Morgan Street, 4 buildings on site, residential 2-story house, a wood frame 2-story barn, a 1-story metal building, and a 1-story wood frame building. The tap room is located, the tap room is a total of 1,575 square feet with 4 entrances and 4 exits and seating capacity of 60 people, to be located at 16 East Street as known as map 5-B-2 in the town of Granby. James Tromke.
So basically, we're adding another beverage. It's, we've been approved by the TTB, the federal approval process, and the state ABCC for a farm brewery license. And basically what I'm here for today is to ask for a pouring license in addition to the pouring license we already have for wine. So we're basically adding an additional flavor. It's categorized different. Beer's categorized different than wine, malt, and I think they mainly do it because it's the way they separate the taxing of it. So as far as the town's concerned, it's basically adding another flavor with less alcohol in it. You know, beer's 5-6%, where wines are a little bit higher. Right now we have, I think we're up to 9 or 10 different varietals of wine that we'll be serving, and this is just an additional product. It won't have any other impact on serving or anything else than what we've already been licensed to do.
Any questions from the board? Good.
So you're only adding one beer?
And
Yes.
Chris will go first.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know you said Rick.
I did.
I apologize.
You said you can go first.
No, I was just wondering because it said malt beverages, and you had said you're just adding one more flavor, so it's just.
That's what it basically comes down
Okay.
to, is I'm adding another flavor. It's beer. Beer is categorized as a malt
in a
beverage
different category.
versus a wine. That's all.
You're brewing it on premises.
Yes.
So you're making the beer, the malt beverage on premise? too?
We can do both. Same thing with the wine. We're growing hops on site currently,
Yeah.
but as well as the wine license, the federal government and the state allows you to contract brew as well. So if you want to supplement, with a contracted brewer, as long as it's brewed under your name, it's the same. In other words, I could take my hops somewhere else
Yeah.
and have it brewed and then brought back.
Okay.
Works for me. I got one, sorry. One more question. It's come to light that there was a letter submitted about, they're worried about what it's gonna turn into. And if you can, they're worried it's gonna turn into a bar, to something like that.
Well, I'm not sure what the description
And or
of it.
the traffic issues there. Can you address that for the
I
people
sure
who are
can.
concerned about it?
Traffic is heavy on that street to begin with.
Yep.
And it keeps getting heavier, and it has nothing to do with anything that goes on in this town. Our town has become a pass-through. And I think I said it at the last hearing, we're like one big rotary. Traffic comes in and goes out the other end, and nobody stops here. They're not paying any, they're not contributing to any of the other establishments here in town. This is something that's here for the town. It benefits the town. There's going to be, as I said before, there's going to be fundraisers for different things here in town, like the Athletic Association for the kids, and a few other things that we've come up with. But we're not going to impact traffic. The traffic on that road, on 202, on East Street, Pleasant Street, Chicopee Street, School Street, the traffic, somebody could open up a brewery right down the street in Ludlow, and it would still impact the town's traffic. To me, it's a moot point. Traffic, we have no control over that. We accept, was it Chapter 80 money? Or 90?
90.
Chapter 90, yeah.
We can't control that. It's, we take the money and we use it to improve our roads. We're not even open, and there's accidents, throughout town. I don't see how opening a brewery, they've opened up all over the state of Massachusetts in rural residential areas because they're farming communities, and that's what we are as a farm.
Is there any comments from the general public? Sir, if you'd like to come up and state your name and address.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not a very good speaker.
It's okay.
I only get in front of people, but I call it the way it is. I'm the guy that sent the letter in. I figure it's just the beginning, setting up for a pub. That's what I put in that letter. I didn't protest growing his grapes and making his wine.
Mhm.
He's got that there, that's fine. But I think with the beer license to make it, eventually he's gonna be bringing in other brands of beer and whatever else, and we're gonna have a pub right across the street from my house. And like I said in the paperwork, would you like to have that happen to you? You're living in the country, and I'm not, singling you out. It's just, anybody comes in and just wants to put something like that in, it just doesn't fit. The grapes, the vines, he did a great job on the property, it's beautiful. But I'm against the rest of it, and the traffic is an issue. When they're leaving at night and stuff, and I ain't saying they're gonna have drunk too much, it's just, it's gonna create a problem with that traffic when it comes around that corner. It's moving. Somebody pulls out trying to get out there, you're gonna have a ton of problems. Just not a good spot for it. Him making his wine and serving it, that's a whole, fine. It's a farm. I can deal with that. But this is, now we're moving into another area. So I don't know exactly. Just, I'm against it and don't know how to express myself, but it's a dilemma. And the other part of it too, we're not gonna hide behind it. We're talking about money here. It's a money deal again. If it gets this thing cranked up, there's a lot of money can be made. And that's what we're dealing with.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, sir, what was your name?
Brandon Morris,
Brandon Morse.
19 and 17 East Street.
Thank you.
Mr. Randall?
George Randall, 52 Taylor. I've got a copy of the letter that, the legal notice. You said it was published. I couldn't find out where it was published. There's nothing listed on the official town website for this meeting tonight. The last hearing that was listed on the website is for June 26th. I don't have a whole lot to say. I would expect it for something that this important, that there'd be more people here to speak in favor or not in favor. The hearing, the acoustics in here are terrible. I'm sitting back here, I couldn't hear a thing that anybody was saying. So I think what I would consider asking the board is to reschedule this so that more people in town would know about this. I didn't know about it until 4 o'clock. And somebody called me and asked me, do you know about this? I haven't got a clue. I realize it's posted around town on the information boards. I, for one, don't have the kind of time it takes to drive around and look at all the information boards. I have to rely on the official town website. And it sucks, you know, but anyways, that's what I had to say.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Yeah, just one, if I could make just one more comment. This is basically just an amendment to an already existing license.
Okay. Yeah. Gavin?
I just wanted to let you know that all the abutters of the property were sent by mail
Okay.
to here. And the reason the other one was not in there was because it was town-wide. Where this one was, they had abutters and they got paperwork sent right to their house.
So everything was properly posted? Is there anything else from any of the public at this time?
Could he explain that as far as you already have a license? You would have told me that. How does that work?
So he just addressed the board. So Mr. Tromke his business has been issued a license already from the state
Okay.
and from the federal government. So for pouring.
For pouring wine or for pouring?
For pouring wine.
There you go.
Pretty.
We're not pouring wine. We're pouring beer. Let's get down to it. And I don't think it's just going to be the stuff that he's making. This is going to keep escalating as time goes on. Sorry, I can see what's going on. And it's not a good spot for it, for one thing. And it's not even zoned for it. It's not business zone. It's farm zone. The farm he's got, couldn't do it, that's fine. And like I said, it's great. It looks beautiful and everything else. But we're heading in a whole different direction. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm Teresa Ichihara, 80th Street, so I'm the person on the corner, and we've been there 29 years, and we already have a tremendous amount of accidents. So I'm in favor of it because I think it will slow people down. They'll be going in, they'll be turning to go in and turning to come out. And there used to be a kennel there that had a capacity for, I think, 50 dogs that we did a day. So it was a business, and we had a lot of traffic going in and out of the kennel before. I don't think the accidents were worse. I had 2 accidents, the same accident, in 6 months on my property. So the accidents are already there. I think it would be good to have people slowing down to turn, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You come back
Yeah.
with me.
Okay. The county was boarding more state police dogs. They didn't take in regular dogs. Mr. Prokolsky did when he lived there. But the Fitzgeralds they had the police dogs, is what they were dealing with, which was more profitable than everything else.
Well, Mr. Tronky and his business, is already approved to have a business there, so this is...
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying that
No,
escalating it is what I don't want to see
Okay.
happen.
is there anybody else? No? All right, this time we'll close the public portion of it. The board can discuss it. Rick? Thoughts?
Yeah. I think, I interested about the traffic problem the first time he came in for this. And the chief was here, chief of police was here, and he didn't seem to have an issue with it. I think Mr. Trampy's explained, I don't think he's gonna open up a bar there, correct? You're never gonna see alcohol.
Our hours are limited. We're already licensed from 12 to 9 o'clock PM. We have no intentions of doing anything beyond that.
Is that 7 days a week?
Pardon me?
7 days a week?
We're licensed to be open 7 days a week,
Okay.
only because holidays fall on Mondays and, during the week.
Yeah.
Our plan right now is to open Thursday through Sunday. And Sunday's probably closing a little bit earlier. And we will be open year round, but during the winter months, I'm sure we'll probably end up, eliminating, some of the hours as far as closing earlier, maybe not open on Thursday, opening up maybe during the week a little bit for the holidays, for gift baskets and things of that nature, but it's not a bar. I said when we did events, I would consult with the chief and have a detail there for that. So, and this is a license that I have to apply for every year. So if there's an issue, you can have it corrected when you reissue the license. They've sprung up all over the state. They're very popular. They're family oriented. And again, this is just an amendment. We're just adding another beverage to the menu. It's not like we're starting from scratch and doing something totally different. We've already been approved for it. We haven't opened yet. We're thinking there's going to be problems before they even happen. I've been in this town for a long time. I sit on a lot of committees and boards. The town's very important to me. I'm not going to do anything that's going to be detrimental.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Crystal?
I understand Mr. Morset's concern. I don't think that the traffic is caused from the winery. I think it is because we are a throughway to other communities. I mean, even New Ludlow Road is super busy. Like, we just have really busy streets, and it's not because of any one business. He does already have the license, so I understand the concern with putting malt beverages on or adding that as an amendment to the license, but he's not open late hours. It's not going to become a drunk fest where people are there till 1 or 2. It's 12 to 9, limited hours. And like Mr. Tromke said, he has to come back every year for the license. So if there is an issue, we can address it then, but I would hate to limit a business that's just trying to get started when we don't even have any problems yet. So that's just my original thinking. But I do understand the concerns out there as well.
And I am with that, as well as that, if something doesn't seem right after, this first year, and Mr. Trompe's got to come back, redo his license, those issues can be addressed with the board at that time. But also, I look at this, and I understand it's adding another beverage. But I also look at it as if, you have some people are going out. For instance, you have a couple going out, and one drinks wine and the other one doesn't. It still gives him the opportunity to have someone come into his place for a business. With the same note too, he could sell 25 different types of wine if he wanted to. There's no limit to how many types of wine he sells. So,
With the permit, now you give them the beer.
I'll do respect, this is my turn. Okay. No. So with that point that I'm saying is that it's a certain type of beverage he's looking to add on to. And I don't see, I think it's more the business is advertised as a winery. Most people going there are going to be going to drink wine. I think it's just to help support his business. He's just adding, again, I think for the beverage to the malt liquor, the beer type for the people who don't drink the wine.
Yeah.
When someone goes there who does drink wine, there is someone that doesn't. So like I said, I don't see a problem at this point in time. This board will have the opportunity to revisit this in a year when his license comes up for renewal. At that time, if there's any concerns, I think he will address at that time as well.
And to make the beer, he is growing it on the premises as well. So it is part of the farming.
He is growing hops,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Good.
It's good.
So would you like me to make a motion?
If someone likes to make a motion, sure.
I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the liquor license to sell malt beverages for, do I have to say for 1 year? I don't have the license in front of me. But just make an amendment
Just
for the
amend
license.
to his current
Okay, so I will
license.
make a motion to amend the current license to sell malt beverages
Is there a
at
second?
the Haas and Vineyard, the wine Haas and Vineyard at Jameson Farm.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Any further discussion? The only thing I will note that it is, it's a pouring license, gives him the permission to pour.
Just have
To pour.
a question. We have other vineyards in town, I believe, I don't know.
So I'm just gonna ask to.
No, I'm just
I
saying,
know.
do they have a license?
I want to finish up the board's part here, and I can answer any question after that.
Okay.
So, all in favor of approving the pouring license?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Do the other vineyards have places, do they have licenses to sell on the property? I don't know.
I don't know they either, that's up to them if
Do we
they wish
have
to
any
do
in
so.
town? You would think you would know if you had other ones.
I mean, there could be one or maybe, I don't know, I haven't heard of any, but there might be.
So this is.
I haven't, this is,
It's gotta be
yeah.
parked in my yard. Unbelievable. That's the way it is.
Well, we appreciate you coming, sir.
I'm leaving.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, we have a few minutes before our 6:05 meeting with Crystal. Meeting with her.
At the last meeting, you had delayed making a decision on that part-time conservation agent that we were going to share with the town of Camden. Did the two of you have a chance to read over the proposed MOU? Because we're related to this meeting,
Yeah.
I was just curious if you had.
I did, and I think it's beneficial. It gives us something to have somebody right now. And, if it doesn't work out, we can always move forward to something else, but it gives us something right now to have in place.
And we did hear from one of the commission members, and they have no problem.
Yeah.
with the way it was written, so. We want to proceed forward with it through the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission along with the town of Camden to move forward to advertise and interview and potentially hire.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think that's
yes.
pretty good.
Yes.
And this, again, was for the conservation agent slash...
Conservation agent slash stormwater manager.
Okay.
If you want, I can go through some of the other business, old business.
Sure.
Or-
We have 5 minutes. That's great.
Regarding the update on Route 202, there is no update as to what's going on with that. Regarding Forge Pond, I did get a hold of Dave Leonard, and he hasn't heard anything about any awards going out at this point in time. Dredging of Dufresne Pond, I sent an email, but I haven't heard back. Repairing of the Dufresne Playground, Jeremy had received an email that was this morning. The guy was gonna get back to him sometime this afternoon, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Jeremy after that. Dog waste at Dufresne Park. There's good days and bad days. You know, it's still a problem, but I don't think it's as bad as it has been.
And I think the people, unfortunately, who are doing what they're doing, that's not gonna change. Because for a reason they're doing it, the mischief or whatever the reason may be, they're gonna continue to do it. I think most people that go in there are doing the correct thing and they're picking up their dog waste and.
Right. So, I don't know how we're ever gonna really be able to enforce that issue. We are planning on putting on the next agenda, the West Street Building Committee to come in and make a report to the board. Regarding the spraying for ticks at the dog park. I believe he was trying to coordinate with Jeremy because there has to be a period of time when nobody goes in the park. And I believe once a week, I think Jeremy is scheduled for a park closure for like 2 hours, I believe it is. So he can do maintenance and mowing and things of that nature, so he's gonna try and coordinate
By
at that
time.
time. And regarding the Five Corners, Helen request, when he was here, he said there was no rush. I know I've been talking with Brian O'Toole, maybe trying to do a little bit of a title search to see if there is any document that the board granted Mr. Halon to use that area once the road had been diverted to its current position.
Is Brian gonna do that, or?
Brian has a
Or Mr.
woman
Halon.
in his office who does a lot of title search.
Yeah,
You're just gonna ask her to do it, of course.
Okay.
It may cost us to do it, but I figure it could be money well worth spent if you try and move forward with that process.
Well, it's gonna be helpful to know who that property belongs to, not just for us, but for the state. If they decide to move forward with that project.
Especially if they're gonna put it back on the way it was before, so.
Chris, can I just ask you a follow-up question for the Forge Pond? Does he know what the time frame was for that grant that he wrote? Like sometimes they'll tell you when
No.
it will be awarded?
No, he is.
Okay.
He wasn't sure if the state was gonna fund the project or the type of a project this year. With the new governor being in there, he wasn't sure if maybe her priorities were gonna be a little bit different than the sitting governor when we put the application in, so.
All right, it's now 6:05. We have an update from
Yes.
Charter Days, a recap from Crystal.
All right, so I'll start off with the financial standpoint for Granby Charter Days for 2023. So I had the treasurer put together a list of expenditures for everyone, as well as a list of profits as far as parking goes. It doesn't have the food vendors on here, and I'll give it, I mean, Chris probably has his own, but I'll give it a copy just in case. Well, I mean, like, you keep track of ours, so you probably know better. But she put this together after our last Charter Day meeting, and I just wanted to show the board as far as what the big expenses were for the weekend. So on Friday, for the bands, we paid $2,200 out, and the truck pulls were $5,700 for a total of $7,900. And because we stayed at $5 per parking per car on Friday, we made $4,019. And there's a discrepancy there because there was a car that only had $4 on them, and the volunteer that took the $4 and let the car pass said that he would give the $1 to make up the difference, and I told him absolutely not. He's not paying for someone else to park. I would have done the same thing had I been in his shoes. There's back-to-back cars, just let them go. It's $1, just let them go. Even if it was, you know, $4, I mean, you can't back up traffic for that, so that's where the discrepancy comes from. So as far as the big cost versus what we made in parking, for Friday night, we are $3,881 in the negative, if we just compare those two big costs with the parking. Then for Saturday, we had bands that cost $2,000. There were 3 of them. We had oxen pulls that were $2,000, and the fireworks this year was $9,000 for a total of $13,000 that we had to pay out. The parking we did, or the board did approve to go to $10 a car. So that day we, the Charter Day Committee made $17,545 on parking. So that's in the positive $4,545. And then on Sunday, the biggest expense, or the only really expense on Sunday is the bands, which is $450 because the tractor pulls are done for free. We don't pay out for that. And the parking was $5 a car on Sunday, so $583, and again, discrepancy because of people not having the exact money for parking. So we're in a positive with $133. So I just wanted the board to see as far as the big expenditures. On the right-hand side, you'll see it shouldn't say actually weekly, it should say the weekend. These are the weekend costs. So we paid advertising $2,002. The petting zoo was $800. Flaggers in the parking lot this year was $1,476. The sound guy was $2,010. The police detail, including Ludlow Police Department and Granby Police Department, was $6,996.76. Porta potties was $2,290. Buwana Jim is the alligator will travel. He was $2,500. Tent rentals was $1,840. Golf carts was $1,320. The fish stocking was $452.50, and additional expenses included water, diesel, water testing, and miscellaneous like disinfectant sprays, gloves, paper towels, and so forth, which is $704.59. So that would be a total of $22,391.85. So as you can see, Charter Days cost a lot. We were able to stay in the positive this year, which is really good. So we didn't go into the revolving account. I mean, obviously we used it when we were planning and stuff like that, but we made enough money back where we didn't go into the revolving account. So we are adding to that revolving account, which is a good thing. So
So the $10 on Saturday and
It was a
actually made a
big-
big difference.
yes.
That's what we were anticipating when we made
Right.
that decision, so that was good.
yeah, which is why the committee was like, okay, well, if fireworks are double the cost now, maybe we can't go up to the $12,000 for the fireworks, but let's try $9,000 and hopefully, you know, the parking will cover it, which it did,
Good.
which was a good thing. So that was just kind of a brief overview of that weekend. I think we're still waiting on National Grid to find out how much electricity we we use that weekend. But that should be the only outstanding bill at this time. And then Kathy Leonard also forwarded you guys the Granby Charter Days 2024 proposal. So as I was thinking about everything that has to be done for that weekend, I was trying to figure out how can the town move forward in having Granby Charter Days without it being any one person's responsibility, because then that, or not so much that one person, but 7 people's responsibility for that whole weekend, because they don't get to enjoy the fair. So I had an idea, and I wanted to bring it to the board, and of course it's going to be up to the next committee as to what happens with Charter Days, but my idea was to have a 3-chair committee, so that each chair would be responsible for a separate day. In doing so, my suggestion is to also have the various town departments get more involved in the setup of Charter Days and the running of Charter Days, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know. So for Granby Charter Days, you know, historically it was started in, from what I found in my research, and correct me if I'm wrong, in 1968. The first committee was actually appointed in 1980, and they planned the 1981 Granby Charter Days, which originally started off as a one-day event that included the community nonprofits, small vendors, competitions, and a fishing derby. Then over the years, the Granby Charter Days quickly took off and eventually became a three-day fair, because that was the only way that they could get a ride company in here. The ride company wouldn't come for one day, it takes too long to set up. So that's what changed it to a 3-day fair. So planning for Charter Days starts in August of the year before, so the committee should be starting in August of this year or early September, with 1 meeting a month until April, and then they have that time to complete their duties, and then in April it will go to every other week, the meeting, and then in May it's every week until you have the fair. And that's just to make sure that they do everything that needs to be done to prepare for the fair. So as you guys know, Micheline Turgeon was the chair for 15 years. I've done it for, or planned it for 4 years, but only did it for 3 years, where we actually had it because of 2020 and 2021 that it getting canceled. It is a lot of work. I will not be able to continue on the committee to the capacity that I was doing for the last 3 years. So I had drafted up this proposal for the Building Parks Department to help out, the Highway Department to help out, which they used to. And we didn't have a Building and Parks Department before to help out with Charter Days. So, you know, I feel bad because a lot of this is the park. So a lot of it would fall underneath his jurisdiction, so to speak. And then how the police department can help, how the fire department can help, how the town can help, and then what the committee can do. I tried to outline it with very specific things that need to be done in order for each day to be successful. And I don't want to sit here and read it. It would take me at least 20 minutes to read the whole document, but I think for people who are interested at home in getting involved, I think they should definitely come down and get a copy of this, or I'd be happy to email it to them if they reach out to me, because I want them to know what's involved in planning for the Charter Day event. And I've had a couple people reach out, and I've told them to call Kathy Leonard if they want to be on the committee. I don't know if anyone has yet, but I've had a couple people reach out about it. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to look it over and if you have any questions for me.
I've read it. I worry about the Building of Parks guys going in there with their overtime that we're going to be paying. Same thing with the fire department works 24/7, 365, and the police department also work that much.
So for the police department, Rick, and the fire department, it was just to do community engagement.
Right, they're usually there anyhow. I know the
The fire department
wasn't.
hasn't been there for the last 2 years, maybe 3. They haven't been there.
Yeah.
So the Charter Day Committee has to act as the first aid station, which we don't, I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't have time. People come to us to clean their wounds, to give them Band-Aids and stuff like that, and we don't have the manpower or the time to do it.
Yeah, and that's the key right there, the manpower.
Yeah.
This is mostly a volunteer event, and that's hard to get.
It's all, yeah, it's all volunteer except for the vendors that we pay to do certain services for us, like the petting zoo and stuff. And this year we did have to add flaggers because we didn't have enough people to help us in the parking lots.
Yes. And
You know,
I just don't want it to be a burden on the taxpayers of the town on it. I enjoy the event. I think it's great for the town. It's a good advertisement to what a great town we live in. If people would step up and do that, and we know how hard it is to fill a committee seat on some of these things, and it's hard to get people to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to get them to step up, but it'd be great if they did.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, what do you got to say?
Well, obviously, I think it's a great event. It's, I mean, just being part of it for the past several years, but also attending it. I think having 3 co-chairs, I think is nice. It shares the responsibility. And I agree with you, Crystal. The past 2 years, I've seen you run around like crazy for, at least for a few hours I was there. And I agree with you. I think it's very, very demanding on one person to do something like that. And it's a big event. It's something that lasts 3 days, and that takes a year to plan, without a doubt. And I think if there's ways that we can utilize the town departments, I think we try to utilize them. But, you know, and as you said,
And I agree with Crystal on it. The burden is on the building and parks department guys, and they do not have enough guys to work on that to get it done.
no, but I think any type of assistance it helps. And I think we're not asking anybody to burden the whole entire load, if you will, but also if we get enough people to help and assist, and especially, you know, with the town departments, you know, pitching in and helping out. And it doesn't all fall on the volunteers too. You know, sometimes people are just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And sometimes they get frustrated and they're working hard to make things happen, and, you know, then they don't see the town pitching in at some point. So I think it's beneficial on both sides, where if we can allow the town to do something like that, you know, especially in reaching out to the chief for the fire department and asking him to, you know, some of our firefighters to volunteer a few hours in different shifts. And to me, that's no different than myself or you volunteering, or Mr. Randall volunteering to help people park. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, we're not asking someone to put 16 hours in one day, but if everybody can pitch up a couple hours here or there, it makes a difference, and it lightens the load for everybody. So I agree with Chris. I think going forward, we reach out and you know, help out where we can and assist where we can.
With the fire department, they have the on-call, the call balls, what they call them. On-call volunteers. I can see them doing that, but they are constantly looking for volunteers to come work for them. It's a commitment the volunteer is going to make for the training. That's an issue. I don't think you can talk to Chief O'Neill. I don't think he would have a problem with having the volunteers go there. Not at all. I think it's a good thing. Having the volunteers to go do it is another issue. If he doesn't have them, he can't send them. But he's
But it's
working
not
on
like
that.
a long time, it's 3 days. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're not asking them to do it like throughout the year or anything.
Yeah, but just like what you're doing though with the committee chair and you're splitting it up over the weekend, that's a great idea. It takes the burden off of just that one person. The volunteer guys who get there, you can't have 3 guys there all day long and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just manpower. I think they're going to have there. I don't think he'll have a problem at all asking for volunteers. Getting them might be an issue.
But again, it's not asking someone to take the full burden.
Yeah.
People can take a few hours here, a few hours there. You know, it can be one person. And there's a big difference between a firefighter or an EMT versus someone just standing there.
The call volunteers, yeah, I get it.
It's a huge difference. It's
great
based on
learning
the knowledge
experience.
that
Yeah.
person would have there. So, and again, you know, if someone can fill a few hours here, a few hours there, just like the parking, people sign up for it. Kathy?
I don't think it would be smart to ask each of the departments to come and discuss each of the things that she said that each one should do and see how it fits in with their department. Let them all work it out.
Yeah.
And not so much that they should do, just asking them, could they take it on because the committee's been doing it to this point.
Right, but ask them, is it something they can do and work it out?
Yeah.
Maybe they can't do all of them, maybe they can do a couple, but I think they should come in and be able to speak about it themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Because it is something that they're asking their department to do.
Right.
So maybe know more than anybody else that for that type of time of year, you know, what, if they have time to do that, there might be other things going on that they can also.
Right.
Well, right, and it's just like any one of us. We all have
Right.
busy lives, busy schedules. And if someone can donate their time, I'm sure they will, and it doesn't have to be someone from town. Someone may know someone that works somewhere else, says, I'd love to help out.
I think it should be included.
Yeah.
Have them
Right,
be able to come and have their time.
and I agree. I've sat on plenty of committees where the different agencies within town, departments, you know, pitch in for a town event, and that's all, you're asking what kind of resources that they can bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's all. And like I said, sometimes people know enough people where, you know, they feel, hey, I can go down and help out for a couple hours and, you know, I'll get a free parking pass and they enjoy the event, sure, why not? or something like that. Or someone brings their kids there and they can be there for a couple hours and then, you know, there's ways to look at it. But I think that we start by asking. And I think that's the beginning.
We should get together, brainstorm with all the department chairs or get on that. I think it's very important though to have somebody there in a first aid tent, not just committee members who are not trained in that stuff. You know, we could maybe reach out to a local nursing school if they want to volunteer.
Well, we can start with the fire department and see
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
can do.
I know.
They used to do it, Rick, and I get that they're busier now.
The best people is what I was getting at.
On the on-call list? We're gonna look at that today. There's a lot.
There's a lot of on-call force.
Yeah.
And all you're asking for someone to donate an hour, 2 hours at the most.
There's a lot.
I mean, you know, most people, we would be able to be fine with that. I think it takes more to kind of schedule it than anything, but we'll see. And like I said, if
Yeah.
it starts with asking people for assistance and help, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So, worst people can say is, no, I can't do it.
So I know this isn't pressing because it doesn't have to, you know, the Charter Days isn't until, you know, June of 2024, but they do start planning in August, if there is a committee.
Well, let's start working on that.
Yes. So, with that said, do we want to try and figure out which departments can do what so the committee is clear on what their responsibilities are so that if we are asking people to come forward and be part of that committee, they know exactly what it's going to entail?
Well, if we're going
Like
to
Kathy said.
right, we could actually send out an email to each department head. Just
With
kind of
this?
Let them know, just kind of
Okay.
a heads up, and then have the, you know, when we have the committee for Charter Days, they can have that first meeting, everybody can be part of it.
Okay.
And then it starts the message, it starts getting out there.
So so I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? Sorry.
I would send out an email to the department heads that, for the future, we're looking for their assistance with charter days. And, then,
You want to attach this?
yeah, we attach that, at least there's that notification, and then, after there's a committee formed, and then we have that committee, have a meeting with the department heads. So we can all be part of it from the get-go, so we're not kind of, you have, firefighter, I mean, the police that are, first responders that may, just for instance, may be at the first aid tent or something like that too. There's a lot of, so that might be, those are possibilities too. And you'd be surprised, you may find out, not just that, but I'm sure a lot of people that live in town that are first responders. That could definitely be part of a first aid. Sometimes they just don't know, and they'd be glad to help out.
Well,
Yes.
if I may, on that, there are a lot of first responders in town that work elsewhere.
Yep.
A lot of their jobs will not allow them to work in a different capacity, in that same capacity for another town, volunteering their time and labor. Years ago, the fire department, man, all of us guys volunteered our time for the whole weekend. The police department can't because of the union contract. The union contract says we have to pay them.
I'm not talking about the detail, I'm talking about volunteering time, be a first responder.
No, I understand that, but there were members on the Granby Police Department that would have been happy to volunteer their time for the weekend, volunteer to the town of Granby, but their union contract won't allow them.
They can get back the money to the charter days. But I think we're starting somewhere, and I think that's where we start,
Yeah,
and go from there.
You're starting off brand new.
Yeah.
And my suggestion would be to try and recruit some people ASAP so that they can meet with Crystal and the other committee members that would come into a meeting to let them know what they're going to be up against. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in 3 days that you need time to prepare for. Crystal and the crew over there, they were shorthanded all weekend and they did an amazing job.
I think that's an understatement. It's just to kind of see the numbers of people that were in attendance and vehicles, and most important, really thanking the committee for the work that they did, but also thanking all the volunteers that came out to assist. Again, that's, a lot of things you can't do with volunteers.
A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that, the town doesn't know about or realize.
It definitely takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to plan the event like that. If anybody's ever planned any function, a good-sized function, not even consider something like that, but even a regular function takes a lot of effort and time. And that's a whole other ball of wax goes to that. All right. So we'll start there. And we'll go from there and see what we have. But is there anybody on the current committee that wants to move forward?
At this time, there's 2 that were interested in staying on, but they're only interested if we get more committee members. They don't want it to be solely on them.
Completely
So they don't want me to
understand
put their name forward until we have more committee members.
that. Okay. I can understand that. All right. Moving on. Mr. Martin? Or is there any citizen participation? No? Okay. Then, you're up.
I just had a couple more items. There was a resignation Cynthia Gasperi, she resigned from the Granby Historical Commission. And then we had a letter we received from our moderator. She had contacted members of the Finance Committee to see about reappointment or appointing a new member. She's putting forth 3 nominations for the Finance Committee. Bob Westman, who is a current member, John Rivera, who is a current member, and also she is putting forth Jen Silva as a new member. All 3 have a financial background and experience and will be an asset to our town. Mr. Glassman and Mr. Rivera have indicated they would still like to serve, but she's putting forth Ms. Silva in case the board wishes to appoint someone different. So it's up to the board to decide the 3 potential candidates who they're going to appoint to the 2 open positions.
So the other, there's 4 people on the finance committee, right? So the other 2 are, their term's not up.
Their term, they have staggering terms.
Okay.
There's 5 members of the board.
Okay.
2 expire the same year. The next 2 expire another year, and then the 5th one expires by themselves.
Okay.
So, and the other item I wanted to talk about is before we conduct our next bulky waste day, I believe we're going to have to address issues regarding our fees. We're going to have to go up on our fees. We do have what is being charged at the Holyoke Transfer Station for the bulky items, effective July 1, 2023. And some of these are more than what we're charging. So the big thing is mattresses and box springs. Those are going up to $100 each. You can't get rid of them because they have to be recycled now. They can't be dirty, they can't be wet, they can't be anything. So they have to be almost like in crystal condition. So what I'd like to do at the next meeting is make a copy of this fee schedule. Give you what we're currently charging and see what the board wishes to do prior to holding our next open waste.
So you'll do what we're charging them now and what we're having to pay to get rid of it. Okay. Now what happens if the mattress isn't pristine? They won't take it? So what are the people supposed to do with their mattresses?
You see them on
That's
the,
the
Because
issue
they're
we're-
getting rid of them because they're bad,
That's the
right?
issue we're running into.
Okay.
You don't know where to put them because
Yeah.
the state has made it mandatory that they be recycled.
State mandated that January 1st. You can't dispose of them like that anymore. That or clothing and such.
Yeah, textiles, any textiles,
Yeah.
shoes, things of that nature, everything has to be recycled. That's why you see a lot of these Planet Aid boxes around now.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a place to put them that they come and pick them up on a weekly basis.
And it's not like they can pick it up. We don't have a recycling bin for clothes or for, so.
Right.
They
Well, we
should-
have, we did sign up with Planet Aid. We have one at the highway garage.
Okay.
For textiles and stuff.
Okay.
And if it gets to the point where it gets overloaded, I would ask them to come in. At least have a place, that one municipal facility that they can find and bring
Yeah.
textiles to the river. State is really clamping down on recycling.
sure make it hard to get rid of a mattress though, don't they?
Well, they get expensive.
Yeah.
That's what's coming down to, like you said,
So you're gonna see them on the side of the roads.
That's what's happening in the cities.
So what's gonna
Yeah.
have to happen is we're
Shame.
gonna have to have a sealed container or weatherproof container to put these things in, and hopefully find a place that will take them.
Yeah.
Oh. That's where the burden ship stops when that happens.
Well, it does, that's exactly what happens, and because more of a, might pick up a mattress that's been out in the rain for 2 or 3 days, send it away.
Yeah, they're all over the place like
Yeah.
that.
And the thing is, you know, a lot of them won't take it, they take mattresses because you could possibly have bed bugs, you could possibly have other types of issues going on with it, you know. Sometimes somebody, you know, say someone dies and there's blood all over it, you can't get rid of it. What do you do with it? You know, nobody's gonna wanna take it. Really is becoming an issue.
It's definitely gonna be a crash somewhere down the line.
I know, sometimes you wonder, like, why do they make these decisions without a solution first? Find the solution and then make the decision.
Because they're
Think with
looking-
the end in mind.
They're looking for a zero waste pool, and that's all they care about. And they want to be the first in the country to be able to pat themselves on the back and say, we have zero waste. So you make everything have to be recyclable, but yet they don't deal with people who are dealing with materials and how they're going to get rid of it.
When are we due for the next bulky waste day?
We haven't scheduled that yet.
Okay, but,
We usually do it end of July, usually or August, is when we usually do the bulky waste day.
and we offer it how many times a year? Is it
Once.
quarterly? Oh,
We
just
do-
once?
we do once.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what mattresses were last year. That's gotta be almost, it's definitely double, not
They used to
triple.
be, they used to be $25.
Yeah, so that's what I
Yeah.
thought, I wasn't sure, but it's, yeah.
And you could put them out on the curb and Waste Management will come and take it away for $25. Now they won't even take them away from the curbside. They're not allowed to. They have to be brought to the recycling facility.
Do we know where the nearest one is for people at home that maybe need to get rid of their mattresses?
We have heard there's a place in Northampton that may take it. The other one outside of that that I have seen is Auburn, out by Worcester. All right, so I've only seen like maybe 4 facilities listed on the state website for recycling of mattresses.
Anything else?
No, I have enough doing Google my
Well, when, I mean, that does happen too, it'd be helpful really to try and get that information out there, 'cause I'm sure a lot of people would be, you know, shell shocked if they get there and they find $100. You know, it'd be nice to hand out something that Massachusetts passed a law on January 1. These are the reasons why. Town's not increasing the cost, it's just, that's what the town's paying to get rid of it. All right, how about departmental reports?
Can I just ask Chris a question about the correspondence? What was this memorandum? It says on December 28, 2022, the department issued an interlocutory order and draft policy on enhancing public awareness and participation.
Oh, locatories.
They're
I
going to
did read
have
that.
a virtual technical conference.
Who's this one?
This is from the Department of Public Utilities.
That had to do with the electric rates and things of that nature.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure what it was for, so I figured I'd ask. Thank you.
Departmental reports?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve departmental reports.
Second that motion.
So any further discussion?
I had a question for the chief of police just about the state 911 support and incentive grant. I wasn't sure what that was, but him as well as Sergeant Marion wrote 2 grants out, which I thought was great news to hear for the police department, but I wasn't sure what that one was for, the 911. Is that the call system?
That's the PSAP grants, where they do training for all dispatchers and police officers on how to answer 911 calls. And then also, I believe they allow the human certain amount for equipment replacement on an annual basis too. Through the executive office of Homeland Security and Emergency Services.
And then my other question was for the fire department. He said that 77 calls have been taken by other ambulance services to date due to our A1 being on another call. So I was just wondering, 77 out of what total? So, I mean, we lost from this report 77 of the calls, but how many in total?
At least 77.
Well, yeah. So again, I can reach out to Chief
Well,
O'Neill on
obviously, I
that.
would say at least 77.
Yeah.
No, so there was 144, right, calls?
But we have to be careful with that number, because if he's trying to make a case for a second ambulance, that's going to be a real large expenditure on our part, because then we're going to have 8 more additional paramedics to staff the second ambulance.
Well, this is a different topic, but I don't see a need if people are getting the services that they need from surrounding towns or surrounding ambulances that are coming to provide the service that they need. If people are not getting the service and it becomes a life-threatening issue or something like that, or someone needs an ambulance and they're not getting it, then I think that the town should look at something down the road. But just because there's 77 calls and but people are still getting the service and the aid they need, then that's still okay.
And I agree with you, but we just have to be careful when we throw numbers out like that, that we're not trying to make a case to bring a second ambulance in. And then that ambulance department, we're now going to have 8 more paramedics at probably $60,000 a piece. We're talking another $500,000 plus $500,000 for an ambulance. It's a big chunk of change.
I mean, as long as we're meeting the needs of our citizens of Granby, whether it's us providing the service or the services being brought in, as long as they're getting the services that they need. Because it doesn't cost the town to have someone else come in to provide service. It's individuals still paying for it, so that's...
Yeah, they get billed
Yeah.
every month, so service comes in, transports.
It becomes a concern if other towns are overwhelmed with their own responsibilities and we don't have the service for our citizens. That's where the concern would come in.
But then at that point, we start looking at subcontracting out with AMR instead of offering our own services.
But again, I don't know if that's, it's taking a lot off that, just the 77 calls, but like you said, Chris, how many calls that we were on? There were a lot more that we were doing that we just weren't able to help out on those specific calls. So. But again, as long as the people got the aid and assistance they needed, then that's the problem with it.
Anyways, those are my only 2 questions.
So, with that said, all in favor of accepting departmental reports?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Approve and sign maintenance warrants.
There's a budget.
Sure. We're like a week behind.
I know. All right, so I'll do fiscal year 2023 first. So this is a payable warrant number 77 for fiscal year 2023 dated June 16th, 2023 in the amount of $178,654.06. So I'll make a motion to approve that warrant.
Second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Next one is a school payable warrant, number 77S, dated June 16th, 2023, in the amount of $156,798.57. And just so I follow up with you guys, I did call the Ethics Commission. They said as far as the school payable warrants, I can be a part of that because I have no financial gain in the school payable warrants. So I will leave it up to Chris or the town accountant if they want to continue to separate it or just leave it all as one, because I'm now able to approve the warrant because I have no financial gain in.
We're always able to approve it.
Yes. Well, the first time I called, they said no.
And that's how
And
it's a
then
yes.
this time, the lady that I spoke to, her name was Ting, she followed it up with an email, which was really good, because sometimes they only talk to you on the phone and then they never follow up with anything. But she said because I don't have any financial gain in any of the maintenance of the school, that I can vote on it.
Okay.
So, I did
good to
follow
me.
up with that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're fine with it and you are okay with it.
Yeah.
That's your job, right?
So sorry, Rick, that was my motion, and then I just wanted to
Okay.
follow up with that.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, next one is a motion to approve the payroll warrant for fiscal year '23, warrant number 78. This is, hold on one second, I just gotta get the date. This is dated June 21st, 2023, in the amount of $650,050.80. And I'm going to make a motion to approve it except for two lines that I am unable to vote on according to the Ethics Commission, which is the line for the salaries for selectmen and the line for the salaries for teachers. So I'm not able to vote on either of those according to the Ethics Commission.
Well, I must be able to vote for the select.
Selectmen, yeah.
According to her, I am not. She cannot give you guys any legal advice because you didn't call, but I called and therefore I cannot. I kind of had I had a conversation with Chris about it and I don't really know what to do from there besides I was told I cannot vote on it.
Well, how's it get approved?
It is a financial interest. Those two line items.
So how does that get approved? Is that necessity?
You two are allowed to vote through the rule of necessity.
Well, that's what I just said, caveat of
But
necessity.
that doesn't mean she has to, because with you and Rick voting,
Yeah,
you now have the quorum of the board
yeah.
voting.
Right. All right. So,
Yeah, she gave me the rule of necessity and all that
Right.
too.
right, that's what it comes down to. All right.
So that's my motion, minus those two lines.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain from part of it?
I will abstain from those two lines.
That's interesting.
You're welcome, Rick, and I just voted so you can pay this stuff.
Thank you. All right, next one is maintenance warrant number 79 for fiscal year 2023, dated June 23rd, 2023, in the amount of $237,515.50.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Any further discussion?
Not for me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, next one is a motion to approve a payable warrant for fiscal year 2023, warrant number 80, dated June 30th, 2023, in the amount of $224,292.47, except for the refund that was issued to me in the amount of $498.94 for the Charter Day Committee expenses.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstain?
I will abstain from that line item.
Usually the AC shuts off by now.
I know, it is cold in here.
You want me to go shut it off?
It is getting a little chilly.
What do you do when it gets cold?
No, I mean, it's the point now you can feel it. It's usually like,
I hear
I
you.
never think it heard out that long over here.
Yeah, it usually gets deathly quiet.
All right, next one is a school payable warrant dated June 30th, 2023. So this is fiscal year 23, warrant number 80, in the amount of $183,239.25.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm
Anybody
just listening to
opposed?
jet engines.
Slowing down.
That's probably why they had a hard time hearing before too.
Oh,
was the
absolutely,
AC.
absolutely.
But they also can sit up in the front row. and look back.
Very true.
It'll be helpful too, and I don't know if they can do that with our microphones, because they've got a speaker that, you know, if we do a town meeting, where they could just have a speaker as well, come off the microphones.
That would be.
So I'll pose that question after, because that would probably help out too, the people that are sitting back there.
All right, next.
Actually, the speakers tie in, I think, to the sound system inside the gym.
But
Yeah,
do.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
but I wonder if GCAM has something, because it's filtering through, so you may be able to plug in an external speaker. We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right,
You
next one.
propose to spend some money on the sound system in here?
But if it helps people listen to what we're saying, yes.
There is a sound system in here. I just don't know how to tap into it.
We should look into it, because maybe it'll help out when people are sitting in different areas. Especially if we ever allow a large crowd.
Yeah, but
But it does, I mean, if you're sitting back there and then the furnace or AC's running. you
I
can't hear much.
offered to turn it off and he said no.
Hmm,
So I did offer.
okay.
Okay, next one is a motion to approve a payable warrant for fiscal year 24, warrant number 1, dated 7/30/2023, in the amount of $1,770,962.28.
What was the date?
7/3.
7/3. Did I say 7/3?
You said 7:30.
Oh, 7/3/2023. Thank you for
Pre-planned.
catching that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Next one is a motion to approve a payroll warrant for fiscal year 2024, number 2, dated 7/5/2023, in the amount of $421,994.58, except for the selectmen's salaries and the teacher salaries, those 2 line items.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain?
From the last, those 2 line items, I will abstain. Thank you. All right, and last one is a motion to approve a maintenance warrant for fiscal year 2024, warrant number 3, dated 7/7/2023, in the amount of $90,890.01.
Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Any further discussion?
None for me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Would you like me to read the thank you letter? So the last thing in the folder is a thank you letter for Jan Thornton and William Dubuque. They donated an autumn blaze maple tree. So, dear Jan and William, the Granby Selectboard would like to recognize and thank you for the generous donation of a 7-foot autumn blaze maple tree. We are currently looking to plant it either by the public safety complex or at the new Veterans Memorial.
Very nice.
It is very
Nice,
nice.
yeah.
Yep, it's a nice tree. Move right along. Approved minutes.
We have actually, Kathy gave me a bunch of drafts. They are not 100% complete, but they are working on it,
Okay.
so they're getting there.
Minutes, no. All right. Before we get into our 2023 appointments, why don't we do, we assign department liaisons, because that'll be much less time. Anybody want to do anything different than we've done last year?
No.
No?
No,
No? Okay.
that's fine.
Then we'll re-up for another year.
Got
All
it.
the same liaison, so, okay. That was easy.
Do we have to say it or make a motion?
No,
No?
it's not
That's just-
changing it.
Not changing.
It's just,
Okay.
we can just put in minutes that we agreed upon to continue the liaisons as they are.
Building and public maintenance are the same, right? It's Jeremy, right?
Buildings,
Jeremy's-
no. Buildings is the building inspector.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
maintenance is, Jeremy.
okay, thank you.
Speaking of building inspector,
Yes.
someone had called me in regards to getting a permit, but they weren't sure when they can get a hold of somebody.
Tom Wilson. Amazing.
They're here 2 nights a week between 4 and 6.
Okay.
Okay? Actually physically on site. If they call here, we can give them a number that they can call, but
So
they,
he's here, what, today, tomorrow? Or
he's here usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesday, Thursdays? Okay.
somebody swinging tonight, you catch up on some paperwork because of the holidays, so you have to schedule last week.
You'll be here Tuesday this week, though?
I'm gonna ask him if he's coming here downstairs here. Okay.
Okay.
And for inspections, if they call, we give the cell phone number of the other interim, and he gets back to them and schedules
Okay.
appointments.
I think it's for a permit.
Speak of the devil.
But the thing is if anybody wants a permit, they can just call here, and maybe we can send it to them.
It's also online.
You know, so it's not that it's not available, but if they actually want to sit and talk to the inspector, they're 2 nights a week.
Okay. Well, I love that. Love to get the, I just knew we'd have everybody full-time, that's all, so that's fine.
But the ad is in for our building commissioner. I put it on the website at the MMA. I put it on inside the Beacon, and I think we advertised it in the Sentinel.
The,
Carolina.
and it's gonna be in the, on our website.
So,
Okay.
And those are the most popular sites that we get response from.
I did try contacting the building officials of Western Mass, but they never get back to you.
Yeah.
To try and put an ad on their webpage, but they never call back. So,
So we have, our 2023 appointments. We have a lot of them. Question, are you here tomorrow, Mike?
I'm not, Tommy is.
Hmm?
Tommy will be here.
Time, someone will be here?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I won't be.
All right.
I gotta count people in Northampton
It's
at
okay.
the venue. So we have an issue.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, thank you.
All right, so if I recall last year when we did this, I went by each category and listed the people, and then we made a motion on those
Yes.
people, correct?
Yep.
All right, so for Alamoner's Whiting Street Fund, I will make a motion to appoint, and just to be clear, we've reached out to them, they want to be on.
I would call people, and anybody who, didn't want to be on it told me so. So
Okay.
which is their name is not on here.
Okay,
And I may not have reached everybody, but if they
okay.
didn't get back to me, I can't,
And then the letter goes out to them, and if they don't go and get sworn in, or,
then
then,
Kathy lets us know. Yeah.
okay. All right, so I'll make a motion for Diane Berry to be appointed to the Alamoner's Whiting Street Fund for 2024, Barbara Hochschild for 2024, and Brenda Woodshart for 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I will make a motion to accept the Animal Control Officer, Kimberly Bernier Goldsmith, for 2024 as well.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I will make a motion to approve Americans with Disabilities Act Committee, Jennifer Crosby for 2024 and Christopher Martin for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody opposed?
And then for the Board of Appeals, I will make a motion to appoint Kathleen Bronner until 2026 and Brian Tromke until 2026 as well.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, Building Department, we have none. So moving on to the Cable TV Advisory Committee. So we only have one up right now, which is David Johnson for 2024. and 2 vacancies. So I'll make motion, to appoint David Johnson.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For the Capital Improvement Planning Committee, I will make a motion to appoint Joseph Arabic for 2024, Robert Chauvin Jr. for 2024, Charles Joe Mayhew for 2024, Thomas Roussel for 2024, and Donald Zambrowski, the chair, for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, and for the Charter Day Committee, all of the people on here
No,
do...
hang on, sorry, 'cause
Oh.
we can't actually appoint someone to the chair. Don't they have to vote that themselves? The committee?
No, you can appoint a chair and then they can reorganize.
Okay.
And then for the Charter Day Committee, nobody on this list would like to be reappointed as at this time. Nobody. One of them moved to New York. The other 2 on here do not want to come back unless there's more members. And I am stepping down this year as well as chair of the committee. I just don't honestly have the time to give it 100%. So,
It's okay.
yeah.
We gave them 110% past several years, so.
That doesn't mean I won't help. It's just I just can't be the chair, and we need more members. So moving right along, the Chief Procurement Officer for 2024 as Christopher Martin.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I might have asked this last year, but what's a Chief Procurement Officer?
Allows them to pay the bills.
Okay,
Actually oversees the bidding process.
okay. And then Commissioner of Trust Funds, I'll make a motion to approve Mark Bale for 2024, Albert E. Bissett for 2024, Barbara Hochschild for 2024, and Kathy Leonard for 2024.
What's that for?
Second.
Commissioner of Trust Funds. And
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
What's the Commissioner of Trust Fund?
Well, it's a trust fund.
The trust fund is the school, they have scholarships. There
Oh.
are certain ones that are run by this.
Okay. So basically the ones that are reoccurring every year. Okay. For the Conservation Commission, I will make a motion to approve Amanda Smith as an associate member for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For constables, I will make a motion to approve Louis Berry for 2024, Mark Johnson for 2024, and Kathy Leonard for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, and then I noticed this was highlighted.
Yes, it's
Okay.
because they have not, they usually give us their names, these are people who are up.
Yeah.
And they haven't had a forum when they've met, so they didn't give me any names, but I did get that Robert Keenan does want to continue. So you might just want to do him right now, and then wait till they meet this month, give us some more names.
Okay. So for the Council on Aging, I will make a motion to approve Robert Camus for appointment until 2026.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
All right, so I'm on this committee, so can I not make a motion? With that motion?
You can.
I can, okay. So the COA Director Interview Committee, I will make a motion to approve Robin Lamorta for 2024, Christopher Martin for 2024. Should I say myself? Crystal Dufresne for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, for the electrical inspector, I will make a motion to approve Arthur Corchesney Jr. for 2024, Bruce Pelletier, assistant for 2024, Richard Razaza, assistant for 2024.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed?
Are there more on the electrical inspector, Chris? So Mr. Marion didn't want to come back on this year?
No, East Gas. East Gas.
Oh, okay.
He's a little
Yep.
further down.
Yeah.
He's a little further down.
Gotcha. All right, so next one is a motion to approve for emergency management director for 2024, Christopher Martin, director, and Kevin O'Grady, assistant director.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For ethics commission liaison, a motion to approve Kathy Leonard for 2024.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, so the finance committee is what Chris was talking about before, right? So the two gentlemen that have been on the committee that would like to remain on the committee are here, but there's only 2 spots available, correct? And we have 3 names.
Okay. Any discussion on that? No. Can we make one an alternate?
I'd have to go back and look at the statute, see if we can do that.
Or an associate member, maybe? Can you do that for the finance committee?
I'd have to go to the place, let me look at the statute before I comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I want to be respectful to the 2 members that have been on there, but I also I'd like to see if we can bring Jen Silva aboard somehow as well. I think it's always nice to have a new addition to it too. But I also think it gives someone the opportunity to kind of see what it's about before they have a, you know, think it is that next year maybe, hey, it's not what I thought it was going to be or something like that. So I wonder if we can have, you know, an associate member who's non-voting. Because you couldn't, that's gonna,
I just need to check into it.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, just let me check into it.
All right.
see what we can
So pass on these.
So we'll just pass on that to next week then.
Okay.
Then go from there.
All right, so for the call force fire ambulance, all of these are for 2024. So I will make a motion to approve Marissa Bailey, Roger Bancroft, Kevin Benson, Edward Chapdelaine, Ryan Sear, Zachary Sear, Hannah Eisenstein, John Delgado, Nicole Garafi, thank you. Alan Hodges, Miranda Govia, Stephen Leokopoulos, Alan Leone, Scott Libby, Robert Bazuski, Nathaniel Massey, Chance McLean, Holly Mullen, Matt Niles, Darren O'Reilly, Josh Powers, Austin Plant, Josh Rondu, Paige St. Pierre, Bethany Quinlan, Chris Town, Raymond Warren, Taylor Warren, Rachel Weisbrod, and Brady Williams.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, I will.
Next one, George,
Potopoulos?
yes, he's not,
Okay.
thank you. I don't want him.
So we have 1 vacancy then?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for gas inspector, I will make a motion to approve Fred Marion for 2024 and Michael McCain for 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Is that opposed? No.
For For Granby Agricultural Commission, I will make a motion to approve Russell Arnhammer until 2026 and Lynn Galusha until 2026.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
So for Hampshire County Insurance Advisory Committee, I will make a motion to approve Christopher Martin for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For the Hazard Mitigation Committee, I will make a motion to approve for 2024 Michael O'Neill, David DeRocher, Christopher Martin, James Tromke, and Kevin O'Grady.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And then Kathy, the Historical Commission was also highlighted. Are we waiting to hear back?
Yeah, I haven't heard from either one of them.
Okay, so you want to hold off until we hear back? All right, next one is the Historic District Commission, which we have 2 vacancies. Okay. So we'll move on to the Land Review Committee. I will make a motion to approve William Shaheen for 2024, James Tromke for 2024, and Glenn Sexton for 2024.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For Local Emergency Planning Committee, I will make a motion to approve all of these for 2024. David DeRocher, Lee Lalonde, Christopher Martin, Jeffrey McPherson, Kevin O'Grady, and Michael O'Neill.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For Local Licensing Agent, all of these for 2024 as well. I will make a motion to approve Alan Brooks, Earl Brown, Kurt Carpenter, Zachary Gilly, Kendall Hill Manning, Eric Jorgensen, Steve Marion Sargent, Gary Polar Lieutenant, Jason Richard Sargent, Ryan Senecal, James White, and Kevin O'Grady Chief.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For Municipal Hearing Officer, I will make a motion to approve Christopher Martin for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
The parking clerk is vacant because that's usually the building inspector.
Okay. So the 2 underneath there?
Are the assistants too.
Okay.
Do we need that position filled? No?
What, parking board?
Yeah, what is a parking clerk?
If there's any illegally parked cars around town,
Okay.
then he can order them to be towed.
Can I do that?
Yeah. If you want, you can.
But can't the
Right
police
in Glen.
officers do that too?
He volunteered.
Okay.
They're
So,
usually towed, put in an impound yard, and then they just have to pay the fine and the fee to get them out.
but the police officers do that right now for us. So do we need a parking clerk, so to speak? We still need it? Okay. So we have a vacancy for that then?
That will be filled once we fill the building commission.
Okay. All right, so
Thought that.
another highlight.
Well, that was just a blank. And I did talk to Megan, and she said she still wants to be on it.
Okay.
Just that no one, you know,
Move forward on it.
yeah.
All right, so for the Parks Oversight Ad Hoc Committee, we have 2 vacancies. And for 2024, I will make a motion to approve Megan Slozak and Kathy Leonard, an associate member.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, for the Park Police, I will make a motion to approve all of these for 2024. Alan Brooks, Earl Brown, Kurt Carpenter, Zachary Gilly, Kendall Hill Manning, Eric Jorgensen, Stephen Marion Sergeant, Kevin O'Grady Chief, Gary Puller Lieutenant, Jason Richard Sergeant, Ryan Senecal, and James White.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I did have a couple questions from people that were looking at the annual report that were wondering what the park police was. So just for people at home, since I got the clarification, it's just so that the police have authority to go into the park and basically do what they have to do because it's town property. So it just gives them permission to police the park.
And enforce the bylaws versus criminal law.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so for the Personnel Board, I will make a motion to approve for 2024 Wayne Wilson, Christopher Martin as ex officio, and Dennis LaFleur as an associate member with 1 vacancy.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, for Pioneer Valley Planning Commission representative, I will make a motion to approve or to appoint Nita Abbott from the Planning Board for 2024. And what's the Planning Board alternate?
They haven't named it yet.
Oh, okay. So just Nita Abbott then, with 1 vacancy. But it comes from the Planning Board. Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And then for the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission Joint Transportation Committee, I'll make a motion to approve or to appoint Dave DeRocher for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For Plumbing Inspector, I'll make a motion to appoint Fred Marion for 2024 and Michael McCain as assistant for 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
For Police and Dispatch Department, for Chief of Police, I will make a motion to appoint Kevin O'Grady until 2026.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For full-time officers, all dating till 2026, I will make a motion to appoint Alan Brooks, Earl Brown, Kurt Carpenter, Detective, Zachary Gilly, Kendall Hill Manning, Eric Jorgensen, Stephen Marion Sergeant, Kevin O'Grady Chief, Gary Puller Lieutenant, Jason Richards Sergeant, Ryan Senecal, and James White Detective.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For part-time officers, I will make a motion to appoint Ryan Bartlett for 2024, Ian Howard for 2024, and Jeffrey Reed for until 2026.
Is there a
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from appointing Ian Howard.
Okay. For police dispatcher, clerk, and matron, I'll make a motion to appoint Lynn Menard until
Second.
2026. Let me finish.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For police dispatcher, I will make a motion to appoint John Ferreter, Jeffrey Lawson, and Lee Surratt until 2026.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For police matron, I'll make a motion to appoint Lori Hebert till 2024 and Marissa Bailey till 2024.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
What's a police matron?
It is
Matron
the,
is basically a
Female
woman who
custody.
guarded a female prisoner.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'll make a motion to appoint to the Police Advisory Committee, Annette, oh boy, come to ya, William Johnson, Scott Merrill, Lynn Snowpeck, Mercier, Wayne Wilson, and Zachary Gilly, non-voting member, until 2024.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For Public Safety Liaison, I will make a motion to approve Kevin O'Grady, Chief, for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
For the Right to Know Coordinator, I will make a motion to appoint Jeremy Carrier for 2024.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
What is the Right to Know Coordinator?
That is the person who is responsible to make sure there is a book in every building that contains the safety data sheets for any and all chemicals in that building.
At the school, they call him the Chemical Hygiene Officer. So,
Well, it's under a right.
Same thing.
It's called a right to know law, that's.
Right.
So we
Okay.
just call them the right to know coordinator.
You have the
Thank you.
right to know. Is there a second? Did you second it?
he did
I
second
did
it, yeah.
second
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
My officer is the building commissioner. also,
Okay, I was
so
just
you
gonna
know.
ask you that.
He also will be the landlord storm base.
Okay. Or would that be the conservation/storm agent? The storm face?
No, this is a committee that oversaw the creation of the bylaw. Okay? What's going to be conservation agent is going to be the one who manages the people who fall under the bylaw. Any applications, any building that goes on, make sure that they follow the rules and regs according to the bylaw.
Okay. All right, so for the stormwater phase 2 for 2024, we have one vacancy, but we have David DeRocher, Leela Lon, William Shaheen, and James Tromke, all for 2024. So I'll make a motion to appoint them.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, so for the next one, for town accountant, I will make a motion to approve Christopher Martin for 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I do have a question on that. So I know looking at Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and also, hold on a second, I have something else. That one. All right, so I know there have been questions from the town, and I know I had brought it up last year about separating the town accountant and the town administrator. When I had contacted DLS, Director of Legal Services, they had said that there's no problem with the town accountant also being the town administrator. However, the town administrator, or I should say the town accountant, cannot be doing that job when he's doing the town administration. So it has to be separated as far as the hours go. So, you know, I'm not trying to make this personal at all. I'm just looking at what's best for the town moving forward. So looking at the facts as far as what's in front of us, if you guys go back to August 25th, 2021, the town faced thousands of fees and taxes for bills not being paid. So that was one issue that came up in 2021, and I do have the article if you guys want to see that. And also, just looking at when we went for the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant 2.0, I did end up writing that one because Mr. Martin did say that he didn't have time to write the grant because he was preparing the financial booklet for the town meeting. So, which falls underneath the town accountant's position, not the town administrator's position.
As the
It
budget
doesn't?
officer, I prepare it. The town administrator is the budget officer,
Okay,
and as the budget officer, I prepare it for the finance committee and commission.
okay. So the town accountant sets the budget for the other departments?
I am the budget officer.
Okay,
As part of my job, in my job description, I am the budget officer for the town of Granby. So therefore, I'm the one who puts together a balanced budget, not the town accountant.
okay. So the town accountant pays the bills and prepares the warrant for the select board to sign off on. The treasurer then issues those checks?
The checks, yes.
And then, do they make deposits, or does the accountant make the
No,
deposits?
the treasurer does all the deposits.
Okay. All right, the only thing, Chris, that I was looking at is you do a lot for this town. You do a lot.
Oh, I'm not arguing the point with you.
But there's so much that doesn't get done because you're trying to do too much. And I just worry about where the town's going to be. For example, we went for the One Stop for Growth grant and we couldn't do it because there wasn't enough time to prepare it. We went through with the filing of it at first, and then when it came down for the follow-through, we ran out of time. There was no time to do it. And Chris wears a lot of different hats, as you saw with the appointments. And I'm just trying to figure out how to give the town and the taxpayers what we need and still fulfilling the positions that are also needed. So Pioneer Valley does offer a municipal accounting service. It would lighten some of the burden off of Chris. I know back in 2015, we did have a different company, and Chris could probably tell you the company that we had coming in to do the town accountant, but it didn't work out well. So I'm not saying this is necessarily the best answer or the best option for it, but I think that we need to move forward with the grants. And I know we don't have a grant writer right now, so that is going to fall on the town administrator and the board to make sure that we are applying for those grants and moving forward with those grants to get the town what they need as far as water and sewer down 202 and so forth. But with wearing so many hats and having so many responsibilities, I worry about it not being able to get done. And I don't want to see it year after year being pushed to the side because we don't have time.
How much are they, Pioneer Valley, charging for their services?
So I'll pass this along. They don't have, it depends on what the town needs for hours as far as what you would pay out. But it says here that the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission has secured a CPA firm to work with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and provide this service to help our communities meet their municipal accounting functions. So we could reach out to them. I know there's, it gives you an email of Jay Garcia on here and a telephone number for the PVPC Municipal Services Coordinator. Unfortunately, it didn't have their full name here. It just gives Jay Garcia as the contact for it.
That was Josh Garcia, way back when, who's now the mayor of Holyoke.
Oh.
So then they
He is the
must,
mayor of Hoyle, yes.
Because he was the one who started the program, Josh Garcia. Then he ended up becoming the town administrator up in Blandford, and then he ran for mayor in Holyoke and got elected.
so I wonder now
So
if
that,
they even,
that contact information will be no good. He's no longer at PVPC.
I don't have a issue with exploring different options, but with that said too, I don't, the two positions that Chris does as far as the town administrator and the town accountant are two separate things. And he doesn't, if he's not doing it both at the same time, so what I'm saying, if Chris is donating, and not donating, but if Chris is, for example, providing 25 hours of service as the accountant, that has nothing to do with the time that he is as the town administrator, how does that free up additional time for him? We're not taking anything away from the two separate jobs. We're not taking away any responsibilities that would affect that. I can see if we're gonna say we're gonna take off A, B, and C from being a town administrator off your plate and have someone else doing that, that would free up time for him. But this is two separate positions, and he's not combining them. So I don't see how it frees up time for him. Personal time, probably, but I don't see how it frees up business time for him. Because if he's doing it on two separate positions, on two separate time frames.
The town accountant I used to do from home, nights and weekends. I log into the system from home remotely and do the warrants, pay the bills, do the payroll. Or what I'll do is, while I'm waiting for the selectmen's meeting, I'm usually here from 7 to 3 as the town administrator. 3 to 5, I'll be doing accounting work, and then I come back and be town administrator during the board meetings. Other than that, it's usually I put at least my 8 hours in as the town administrator, and then I go and do town accounting work. 9 times out of 10 it goes home with me.
So, again, I don't, just from that point of view, I don't know how that frees up time for him to do other things.
It'll
So.
give you more time at home.
Well, as I was saying, more personal time I would give him, and I think Crystal is referencing some of that he should have, because I think eventually, eventually Chris will retire, and those positions will have to be separated. So, again, I'm not against exploring other options at this point. I think eventually we're gonna need to do something like that, but we can entertain to see what it'll cost. But I know from previous conversations, the amount that it was gonna cost someone for us to do that was expensive to go out to a separate firm, because most of the people, as an accountant, I mean, it's like a 20, 25-hour week. They don't want to be a part-time accountant, and some of the people don't have the necessary experience and knowledge for a municipality or a city, which is a whole other part of an accountant piece. So,
Chris, on your accounting, how many hours do you normally put in a week on it?
15, 20.
15, 20?
I
So,
know some time ago
I'm curious on how much 20 hours through the PVPC will do.
Well, that's what I
How much
said, we could start exploring other options and.
I mean, it's something we gotta worry about. We know
Yeah.
Chris has been talking about retiring down the road a little bit.
But that's something we could follow up on, I believe so. And I know some time ago, we followed up with a town council. I think at that time it was
Boudreaux?
Mr. Ryan, I think at that time,
Oh,
because
Mr.
he
Ryan.
was still here. And I remember we had a concern back then. I think it was some time ago.
And actually, I think
It was okay.
when Lou Berry was on the board, he invited in Eric Kershaw, I think, from the Cape. And I think that's the person who does the program through the PVPC, or at least he used to. I don't know if he still does.
So.
And he's the one who did it in 2015? Was
He
that?
was the one who was, no, the
Oh.
one who we had was the Hampshire Council of Governments. They had a municipal services program,
Oh, they did, that's right.
and it went well until they hired a new finance director, and then he just couldn't do the job properly. And that's when we almost ran into some deep financial problems under his leadership. And the board decided to have me fill in as an interim while they tried to find somebody. They contacted surrounding communities, and nobody wanted to take on the part-time position. So if you're gonna plan on hiring, it's gonna have to be a 40-hour position. And it's probably gonna run you probably about $65,000, $70,000 a year for a municipal accountant.
Well, I would think nowadays that's probably the minimum,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because again, certain things like building commissioner, these positions are in demand.
And there's nobody, it's the certification factor that everybody needs, that the state requires, that is causing us issues.
But like, to your point, Chris, I think it's an option to start exploring. And we go down that to what's available out there, and we, you know, start making some decisions for the future. It's-
I think Franklin County has something similar, but I know we're not part of that. But they had something similar too, where they do like a sharing of.
And they won't come down here, because I asked them
Yeah.
for building services, and because we're at the bottom
Yeah.
part of Hampshire County, they won't come down.
Okay.
If I was on the
On
border
the
of
top.
Franklin County,
Yeah.
they probably would have done it, because I did check with them at one point or stuff of that nature. And actually, I think they're just advertising for new accountants out there for the Franklin
The shared
County,
services.
So,
Yeah, just because you mentioned it, Crystal, too, in regards to the grant, there was the woman from town.
Lane of floor.
Lane. And what I'd like to do is have a letter from the select board prepared and actually send it out to her, asking her if she would wish to donate her time in writing grants. She had mentioned that at a town meeting, so
Yeah.
I think we can send an official letter out to her, and see what her initial or how much you can
Would you
be
like her
involved.
to come to the board, make an appointment, come on the board?
That'd be, yeah, if she wants to, that'd be great. Yeah, if we could reach out to her and go do it that way, sure.
Tell her to bring her CV with her,
For what?
the resume,
Oh,
What did you call it?
CV, curriculum
that's what they
vitae.
call it. They-
It's
a
a Latin term
about either, like,
for,
what?
it's a Latin term for, sorry, I'm just used to that.
CV.
No,
working
I
with-
Same resume.
thought you said CV.
No,
I
CV.
thought he said.
CV. I
what
guess
are
you
you
could get
talking
E
about?
out of it.
Now, would that, I know this is a tangent now, but would that be like an appointed position if she says yes, if it's an official capacity?
She'll be representing the town
Yeah.
in applying for grants, so, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, where were we?
I made a motion, he seconded, and then we discussed it.
Okay. So all in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Thank you, Chris, for remembering where we were.
Next one is a motion for the town council for 2024 for Brian O'Toole.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next one is a motion to approve the Town of Granby Harassment Officer for 2024, Kathy Leonard and Christopher Martin.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Next one is a motion to approve the tree warden for 2024, David DeRocher.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Next one is to approve the Granby Veterans Agent for 2024, David Mendoza.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, next one is a motion to approve the Veteran War Memorial Committee, all for 2024, Joshua Bouchard, Robert Chauvin, Jason Richard, Jeffrey Rule, Brian Sowell, James Sowell, and Stephen Weatherby.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just had a question. Robert Chauvin is a junior on the other page? It's the same one? Okay. Okay, that's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, West Street Building Review Committee, a motion to approve all for 2024, Stephen Charnacki, Dale Clark, Lynn Mercier, Kevin O'Grady, Jen Silva, James Tromke, Micheline Turgeon, and Christopher Martin ex officio.
You can
Second.
take me off that one if you want.
What's ex officio? I know you said this before, but
Mainly, you're a non-voting member. Basically, you bring information to the committee,
Okay.
and you basically help them in getting their job done.
Like guide them along the way? Okay.
Yeah.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Next one is a motion for the Western Mass Regional Local Emergency to approve, or appoint, sorry, for 2024 Christopher Martin and Michael O'Neill.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
All right, next one is the Westover Metropolitan Development Corporation to appoint for 2024 John Labira Jr.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Is John Labira the one from the Finance Committee? What is the Development Corporation?
It's Westover.
I know it's over at Westover. It's,
Yeah.
they oversee the business park and things of that nature over there. If people have concerns with airport operations, they report.
So they just have different
It's not actually-
community members go there and
But it's not
represent
actually-
their community?
It's not actually the Air Force Base.
It's not the airport.
It's- right, it's the-
air park.
Airport.
Right, right, the
Okay.
actual,
They're the ones who purchased all that property.
yeah.
Yeah, right, near Brown Ellison? Okay.
I forget, what's it called? I know it's the air park. It's not Westover Air Reserve Base. It's the buildings off to the other side, and actually in Chicopee.
They still call it Westover, no?
Yeah, they call it Westover,
Westover,
but it's
Municipal,
the private operations.
Yes, well,
that
that- yeah,
operate
that's it.
off the same runway.
Yeah.
I think it is Air Park. The sign's down by the jail.
Right, it's down by the.
why do
jail.
Westover Air Park?
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Anyways,
and the zoning enforcement officer is the
Building.
building commissioner, just so you know.
Okay.
so, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Well, there you go. There's our appointees.
I have 2 copies. Did I get your copy?
You did. You're doing such a fine job.
There's your copy.
Look over your shoulder. All right, unless I missed anything, I think that's everything because we covered old business.
Oh, let me look.
Correspondence, there was none?
You just had that one.
Yeah, I missed it.
Oh, that there.
That one thing, right?
Yeah. I think that's it.
I did have a question. As far as the budgets go for fiscal year 2024, when did the various departments find out what they were given? Like, did they get what they requested, or because I have one department that's trying to write a grant and they don't know exactly how much they are getting, so to know how much to budget for.
Department's not.
The COA is reaching out for the outreach. There's a grant that they need to write, and she wasn't sure when the budget was going to be released as far as how much was in the budget for the outreach coordinator.
It's whatever she put in.
Okay, so whatever they put in, unless they heard otherwise, that's their set budget?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't think the board changed anything on it when she came and presented it.
No, we didn't, but we didn't,
So I would have just gone with that number.
okay.
And the town approved it.
Right. So if there would have been any changes, she would have been notified and had to put together a new set of budget numbers.
Okay. All right.
Anybody have anything else for our next meeting? Would like to be discussed?
I think that we should keep going on the, well, I guess we could do them monthly on the updates of Forge Pond and all that other stuff.
Your next meeting is going to be next Monday?
Yep.
The 17th, correct?
When's the next meeting?
Monday, the
17th.
That would
17th.
be your regular schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
While we're
I got a
here-
lot of free time now, so I'm good.
Funny. I will not be around,
The following week, then Crystal's on vacation, right?
Yeah, the last week of July. And then we have the 7th and the 21st of August, but
I will not be around on the 7th. I
Wait.
may be, but I'd rather just reschedule it. I'll be away on vacation. I don't know if I'll be back in time, so.
Which day?
August
August
7th.
7th.
So if we want, we can do the 14th, if that works for people.
Do the 14th and the 21st?
Back to back? I'm good.
Yeah, good with you, Kristen?
August, yep.
Yeah, I have a workshop till 3 p.m., but I can make it here for 5:30.
Okay. Alright. So for August, our meetings will be the 14th and 21st of August. Okay.
Got it.
Next, I'd like for the select board to start meeting maybe bi-monthly, or bi-monthly, that's it, every other month, bi-monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the finance committee. Just a lot of discussion that's come up in regards to the future of Granby and our finances. Not that there's an issue, but really start preparing for our future. You know, there's some concerns as how the economy will be in the next several years. And I know this is some concerns that the finance committee had as well, so I think we should probably start meeting, start discussing it, looking at different options that are available now, and then we can work towards, you know, future goals and things like that.
Do you want that to be a separate meeting of the board?
I'd like to have
Not
it,
your part of your regular meeting?
right, something separate, so it's us meeting with them, and again, we're, you know, I know they had some concerns about, you know, where we're gonna be in a few years. So, you know, I think part of our responsibility is planning for the future.
What's that?
So I think we should do our part and make sure that we are starting to discuss that and figure out, you know, what options are available to us.
Do you want the school involved with that, those
No.
discussions?
What, who involved?
Huh?
Who involved?
The school.
I don't at this point because I think, I think the finance committee and the select board are the two committees or boards that are need to discuss it at this point. And the school is just another part of the town as far as filling a department budget. So I know it's extremely large. However, you know, I think it becomes the responsibility of the finance committee and the select board to worry about the funding for the town. I'm not saying that they can't be part of the discussion in the future, but I think starting off with, I think it's just the two, well, their committee and our board coming together.
Do you want to have the first one be next month?
I think so.
Alright.
So we'd have to probably, we'd have to reach out to the finance committee and see.
Well, that's what I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think
To
next
give us-
month, yeah.
To give us
Some
three
dates.
dates,
3 dates, and we, right,
and then we can pick amongst your calendars.
yeah.
What would be conducive
Every other month? Or every month?
every other month.
Every other month.
And you had mentioned when we were talking about doing water and sewer down 202 that you wanted to talk to District 2
Yeah,
of South Hadley,
I'm
right?
waiting to hear back from him.
202 is not
Okay.
gonna be impossible, it's impossible right now. Because there's a 5-year moratorium on cutting anything into it from South Hadley line up to Five Corners right now.
Question whether we're on the sidewalk
We were
though.
gonna look into going down through the sidewalk.
And not
versus-
ripping up the road.
Through what block?
Go down along the sidewalk versus the road, just to talk to the engineer.
I thought that, we didn't talk about that before?
Well, we mentioned it, but we didn't.
What we were gonna do is, well, see, the other issue that becomes now is if we're gonna be tying into District 2, is that gonna be a different route that we're gonna take coming down?
Yeah, because that's District 1, right?
Right.
Sure. District
D2 is up
Comes on
Morgan
Morgan.
Street.
New
South
Road
Hadley,
to
Morgan Street,
Yeah.
Right.
into Granby Pleasant, yeah.
So we may be able to not have to go into the road and just stay away from the road maybe. Because we won't be having to go according to what South Hadley District 1 Water District was requiring us to do.
Even if we can move down towards 202 this is a lengthy project that's gonna
Yeah.
take years. and
Years,
probably
yeah.
We'll get past the moratorium on the road.
But at some point, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, the town has to look at providing municipal water townwide.
Yeah.
So are we going to look at possibly seeing if we could join the MWRA? And then maybe put a water tower up on Dufresne Park somewhere.
Is that the highest hill?
Yep, that's the highest.
Higher than Prince Hill?
I think it is, yes. And then gravity feed off of there, according to them, to take the water from MWRA and fill that tank, according to them.
But that wouldn't be enough to do the whole town. I think we need other support.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying is,
But that is the future, because again, we gotta plan for, 10, 15, 30, 40 years down the road.
Yeah.
chances are you won't be servicing like Harris Mountain and places
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
because you'll never be able to get water up to them. But, for the rest
Without
of the
pumping
town-
stations and everything else involved with that,
Which again
yeah.
is something to.
That's huge
it's
money.
planning for- Right, but it's planning for the future. And that's the important piece there. It's not something that's gonna be the next 5 years, probably the next 10, 15 years, but it's time to start planning now, not 5 years from now.
Yep.
Can we reach out to the engineer and ask them about the soil samples for the sidewalks and see if that's a possibility?
Yeah, I gotta find this email.
It's been a year now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a 5-year
Just-
moratorium.
Right.
Like I said.
4 years left in time to get all this planning done.
Right, it's gonna take
Yeah.
time even to do all that, and even if we get it down there, and we still have some time remaining, at least we're in the
Hey,
area.
it's in the planning stages and
Yeah.
we need to start it now.
Yeah, yep.
Instead of kicking the can down the
Yeah.
road.
And then you're still waiting to hear back from District 2?
Yeah, I'll reach out to him again tomorrow.
Ooh,
District 2.
D2.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea about contacting MWRA to,
No,
about
it's-
Quabbin water, you
yeah,
guys.
these are all worth the discussion right now to start,
Yeah.
planning for the future.
Because I believe our two representatives and senators would probably assist us in
Yeah, that one, I was thinking the same thing.
negotiations with them.
Yeah. All right.
And just one other question, the latest master plan we have is for 2016 for the town, right? Is that the latest one? That's the only one I found on the website?
I want to say yes,
Okay,
but that's up to the planning board to deal with that.
is it? Okay,
That's under their purview.
okay.
2016?
Speaking of planning board, should we,
That's when we had Pioneer Valley Planning Commission come in and we
Yeah,
went through that charrette for a week and the whole 9 yards.
but I'm thinking I was on, that was
You
already,
may have done little tweaks to it.
no, I think it was done before I got on the planning board. That's why I'm thinking it might have been before 2016, maybe 2015.
The one on the website says 2016, like the latest one that's on there.
They may have done a little tweak on it.
There was some
maybe.
tweak at the end, but that was, a lot of that
But
was.
the big master plan was a while back, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which
Could
is,
even
like
be 10
Kathy
could even
said,
be
the
10
planning
years
board.
ago, but 2013, so.
How often does that get updated?
not
To-
enough?
Up to the planning board?
As often as we can raise money, because the last one cost
Okay.
about 40 grand
Wow.
to
Really?
do it.
Okay.
To do the
All the
updated
studies and,
to conduct the interviews with people and all the departments, and it was like it was almost like a month process by the time we were done. Actually, when you're talking about Catherine Rattay, ask her.
Yeah. 'Cause I was gonna say-
She's the one who did it.
and can you get DLTA funding for it? I wonder? I'll ask her, yeah.
Anybody have anything else? No?
I have nothing.
With that said,
I will make a motion to adjourn the.
I will second
meeting.
that motion to adjourn.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you, folks.